Want to call the Leitchfield Utilities Commission meeting for Thursday, January the 16th, 2025 to order. In front of you, you got a copy of the minutes from the January 2nd, 2025 meeting that we had, and I need a motion to approve those, or if there's any. Motion made by Mr. Alley, second by Mayor Miller. All in favor?
Nah.
Passed unanimous. Also, in your packet, you have a ratification of the bills that was paid. Got any questions or anything on any of that? If not, I'll entertain a motion for that too. Motion made by Mayor Miller.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ferris. All in favor? Raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. We're going to skip over Jeff Carter here. Unfinished business, project updates. Do you got that?
The lift station project out on the bypass, the pipe work's completed. There'll be a lot of finished work as far as ditches and yards and things like that. That'll probably be spring before that's completed. But they're waiting on some parts for the lift station pump and all of that. And now they're told that it will be first part of June before those parts come in.
Oh, my goodness.
So we're probably looking middle of the year before that project gets 100% complete. On another project, on our gas line project that we're working with the Department of Transportation on, I was in a video conference along with the engineer this week. They had some questions on some of the locations and easements and different issues this week, and so Matt Baker, he addressed those and sent those back to them. So it's progressing. It's been terribly slow. I guess when you deal with the federal government, it's just typically slow because would like for it to be going at a little quicker pace, but it is what it is. So we'll just stay on that. Maybe this spring we can start that project, hopefully.
Yes, okay.
On the bypass project, what was the projected end date on that? Will they go over their contract allotment on days?
They will. We'll have to extend
So
that.
we need to amend that.
And we told them if they had any problem with getting material equipment in, that we would not. I've already talked to the engineer about that. And I told him we'd be willing to work with them on the liquidated damages and waive those. Everything else, they were pretty quick to get things done. So, yeah.
You have something, Dave?
Yes, I do. Like we talked to you last meeting about the easement problems we had on the bypass project that we have. And I've had extensive conversations or emails with Brandon Hamilton. I've sent him emails, gone through each one of these easements, done quite a bit of work, in fact. They apparently don't know how to cure these problems. I do. I told we just cure them. I'd like to have your permission. I'll just go ahead and cure these easements and redo these easements like they should be. Not very many of them. And then they've already been paid for it, but I'll keep track of my time. We'll submit that, and then we'll just deduct that from their fee. That's what Dwight and I talked about. Is that right, Dwight?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do. Do you?
Yeah. How many are there? There's 4?
5, I think.
4 or 5?
Yeah, just 5
Yeah.
of them have to be changed.
Yeah, I think that's the way to handle it.
It's,
Move forward and just-
they don't know how to do it. They truly don't. They don't know how to do it to start with, so they should have had us do it to start with, but that's what we'll do if it's all right with you.
We need a motion for
Yes,
that?
we do.
I'll make a motion that we allow Attorney Vickery to
Commissioner Ferris made
correct
the
the
motion.
easements.
And we also going to deduct that from.
Mr. Allen
And to
seconded
deduct
that
that from
motion.
Deduct that from their.
the engineers.
We've already paid it for them, paid them. I think, we tried to figure out, Sabrina and I tried to figure out exactly how much it was, but we were having a hard time. I think it was about seven, way I figured it, we paid about $7,000, I think. Right. Well, you sent me
We
that.
had a conversation.
Yeah, we had that,
Sent
yeah,
you that.
that invoice was very,
Yeah, I think that's why I couldn't figure it out. 'Cause the
yeah,
invoice
it was really,
strange,
it was
yeah.
really vague and strange, so, but that's the way it looked, but I'm not sure that, it's not gonna cost near that kind of money to do this.
I have a motion and a second to have Dave secure those easements and correct them, what's going on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who seconded that?
Pudgy.
Okay.
Budgie.
Pudgy did. Motion passed. New business, wholesale water rate study. You want to tell them that?
It's that time. It's that time to redo our wholesale water rate. Me and
Well,
Matt
that's always
Baker.
fun, Dwight.
Huh?
That's always fun.
Well, you know, the last one was pretty simple.
We didn't have any problems, really.
And so with y'all's permission, Matt Baker has taken care of that for us for the last, ever since I've been here, 3-4 times. Very familiar with it, and I'm gonna recommend that we let Matt Baker go ahead and pursue that.
Yeah,
Get
remember,
that
now,
started.
when we get that report, we can't change that until I get the Public Service Commission to approve it, so I have to get that approval. I think last time we got that in March or April, didn't we? Does that sound right? Does that sound right? We changed it March or April, I
Something
think that's
like
when we got there, and they have to approve it.
June
Right, I didn't-
23, I think, was when it was
Yeah,
effective.
first, the Water District has to approve it, and then they
Yeah,
have to.
because I think it was March, and then it was finally effective June.
Yeah, he'll use this new audit.
We'll use this new one here.
Yeah.
So
He'll-
I
he'll-
did have him add in that table that Matt needs.
Yes.
That we had discussed adding into the audit so that it makes this a lot easier. That is included in the audit that he's gonna present tonight, and I've already got all of Matt's, typically everything Matt needs from me, I've got that already. So as soon as you get ready, you can let Matt know to contact me, and I'll get it sent over to him once you all approve for him to do it.
Yeah, as soon as they approve it, I'll let Matt know that, to go with it.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
I done got it already, so that way we have it in the audit this year.
And you know, last time we did it, we didn't have any problems at all. They
None.
met with Matt, and they went through the figures, and they agreed with all the figures. It was, everybody was, there wasn't any problem with anyone.
Is there any more discussion, or I'll entertain a motion?
Don't change it.
I'll make a motion that we allow engineer Matt Baker to do our water rate study for the county cost of water.
Okay. Commissioner Ferris made the motion to let Matt Baker to do this water rate study. I need a second. Mayor Miller seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Raise your right hand. Passed. Okay. Sir, anybody else got anything else?
The vac trucks, I know we've got the new ones that working like they want it to.
It's doing well. Yeah, we like it. Is that was your
Yes,
question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I should have spoke up, but I was just asking.
Yeah, I'm
if
half
it-
deaf, so.
Um,
Yeah, we're keeping it stored right now over at the city building. Our building's not quite finished. They just finished putting the overhead door in yesterday, and we have to get some heat in there.
He just pulled in, Sabrina.
But we've had, the ones that are operating on it, it's a select few, have been trained on it. It's pretty complicated. It is for me. And so we're just letting a select few use it. And
And
trying to
what-
strike a deal with the city to sell them half the old one. They're interested in it, but, and there's probably on occasion we could use it too, so. the
Yeah,
mayor and
we're
I've had
using it today.
discussions.
They used the old one today over there on Mill Street.
Yeah, the mayor and I have discussed it, and Wes and I have, and Scotty, and I think they're interested in it, and so, we really kinda need to get a little something out of it, since we kinda budgeted to get something out of it.
Charge them what we budgeted for half of it.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Thank you.
See anything wrong with that?
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Jeff, how you today? Pretty good. Thank you.
I think you all are ready for him, right?
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't have that mic.
We
on. You
have
don't care to turn
Jeff
it on,
Carter here
please?
with us with Taylor Poison, Paulson and Company to present us with the 2023 and 2024 audit, and we'll give you the floor.
Thank you. Sorry I'm running in late. You should have in front of you, you should have the audit reports. That's what we're going to start with. It's the bound copy. And I'm just going to hit some highlights. Not going to take too much time. We'll turn page 3. Page 3 is the independent auditor's report on the utility systems. And the first two paragraphs there, the first paragraph talks about what we have audited, which is the business type activities and the major fund of the utility system. And then the second paragraph is our actual opinion paragraph. I'll read that one to you. In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the business type activities and the major fund of the Leitchfield utility systems at June 30th, 2024. Etc. So that is a clean opinion or an unmodified opinion or an unqualified opinion. Means that financial position of the utility system is fairly presented at June 30th. What you had or what the information was is what it turned out to be. If we'll turn on, the rest of the report talks about who's responsible, what the bases are, and who's responsible for what parts of the audit report. Page 6 is where I'll direct next. And these bullet points on page 6 are taking the highlights on page 7 and 8 when they're in comparative. So what it says is the assets were approximately $39.92 million. So if we go to page 7, it shows total assets $39.92 million there as compared to $40.7 million. The deferred outflows of resources went down from 1.5 down to 1.3. Your liabilities actually went down a little over $2 million from 19.9 down to 17.8. And the deferred inflows went up from 1.1 to 2.3 or 2.1. And your net position actually was almost exactly the same. It was 21,266 as compared to 21,261. It's a small decrease there. Hang on for a second.
Explain the assets.
Page 8 has not been changed. So
Wait
let's
ju-
go to page 14.
Wait just a minute, Jeff. I think Dave had a question. Dave, do you have a question, Dave?
Do you have a question?
She answered it for me. I was looking at the wrong page. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just now caught that. That page has not been changed out of this report, Sabrina. She already had them together. She didn't change page 8 out. So I'm going to direct you to page 14.
Okay.
Page 14.
That's what you said.
We're going to ignore page 8 because that needs to be changed out of the report. Page 14 is the actual one. There's actually a profit of $4,055 instead of a loss, which was on page 8.
Looks better.
Okay,
That makes
that's fine.
Much better, folks.
Sabrina and I caught that yesterday, and page 8, when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh.
One of the few things I've ever caught.
Huh?
That's one of the few things I've ever caught.
Well, yeah, page 8's wrong. That's the only one that's wrong there. I don't know what happened. Okay. Anyway, we'll go to page, and I'm going to take these reports back up because of that, I think. Page 12. We'll go to page 12. Page 12 and page 13 is that first statement that I went over in more detail. It shows what makes up those numbers for your assets. When we're current at $7.9 million. how much cash is current is 7.1 million. The current cash, or the cash that's in current, means it's not restricted for any reason. It's available resources to be used for your liabilities. Then it shows what your receivables, other receivables, and et cetera is. Your non-current assets, which the restricted cash is 5.7 million. The OPEB, net OPEB asset is 72,000, and your total non-current assets is 31.9 million. The total assets is 39.9 million. Your deferred outflows of resources is 1.3 million, and total for the year is 41.2 million. That compares to almost the same as it was last year. Your current liabilities is 942,000. Your non-current liabilities is 16.8. Your total liabilities is 17.8 million, and your total deferred inflows is 2.1. Net position is 21.2. Okay. So going to page 14, which is your operation income and expenses. It shows total of operating revenues is 7.7 in total between the water, sewer, and gas. Your total operating income in total is 198,000, but it was a loss of 257 on the water, 364 on the sewer, and 820 profit on the gas. And then you had your other non-operating revenues and expenses, which shows a loss of 194,000. The big expense on there is your interest expense on the water plant that was just completed, which gives you a total income of $4,055 for the year. And net position is 21.27 million. Page 15 and 16, that's the statement of cash flows, and that statement shows what you spent your cash on. Page 16 is the reconciliation of the top part of page 15, and it shows where the receivables or payables increased or decreased, or what you spent money on by buying assets or paying off debt, et cetera, throughout. So your total cash increased $88,000 for the year, from 12.75 to 12.83. Okay. The next part of the report is the footnotes. Each of these footnotes talk about these numbers that we've went over a little bit more in detail. The footnotes that I will point out to you that may be of particular importance is on page 22. That is your capital assets, and that is how they are invested, whether they're in land or construction in progress, or whether they're in the wastewater system, which is the sewer, the water system, the gas system, equipment, vehicles, land improvements, et cetera. It shows that you have 56 million. You had 56 million at the beginning of the year. You have 57.2 at the end of the year, and how much is depreciated and what the book value of those are at the end of the year is 26.1 million. Okay. And right underneath it says the book value is 25.5 million. That does not include the land and construction in progress in that number there. Okay.
Yeah.
The page 24 is your debt, and 25 shows the maturities of that debt over the next 5 years, and the maturity in 5-year increments thereafter until it's paid off. So your principal, you owe 13.2 million in the bonds. With the interest, you'll owe a total of 17.8 million, and they'll pay off in 2061. Okay. We'll quickly go to page 47. And page 47 is the breakdown of your expenses between those system operations, general operating, and general administrative. It's the expenses on what you spend your money on, and how they actually break down, so it's a little bit detailed. It's a budgeting tool for Sabrina on there. Page 48 and 49 is the joint use between the city and the county, and how much is actually cities. And then on page 49 and 50 is the last report, and that's the report on internal control and compliance. And that report, once you read through it, it basically says there was no internal control issues, there's no compliance issues, that you're in compliance with all the laws and regulations, and that there's nothing that needs to be changed on internal control. The second letter that I gave you was a letter from us to you, talking about the audit. Basically, it's what all I went over with you. The one thing I will point out is on the second page, and there's nothing that Sabrina can do about this, it's the corrected, uncorrected misstatement. The only adjustment that has to be made on these financial statements is the adjustment that comes from the state of Kentucky for the pension and insurance. And that was the entry that was made there. But she does not have that access until they send it, and they don't release it until like November on there, okay? So, the good thing, I will say this, we've had conversation before in the past about the pension and OPEB. The OPEB plan moved from a liability to an asset this year, which means it's overfunded. I don't know how that happened, but it was overfunded this year. So it's an asset. The pension plan is still showing as a liability. So, and what that means is if there was a pension failure, that's what the cities would be responsible for. Now, if there was a failure on the OPEB, they would owe you back $72,000. Okay? So that's it.
We just
That's
got
it.
news.
Any questions for me?
We just got news now, it was in the paper, as you know, that a huge settlement they got, and they're gonna put that in the pension fund, so I guess that'll probably have some effect for next time on.
Yeah, and they've changed the assumptions this year too.
So that's
Raised
good.
the rate of returns and everything, so I have a suspicion, and actually the liability did go down in the pension fund this year, so I have a suspicion we're gonna see some major changes in the next year.
Right, that's what it looked to me too.
They're working on it, you know, on that side of it, which is a good thing. A lot of it is to do with the market, with where the market's been the last couple of years, going up.
Anybody else got any questions for him?
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah, we
I
appreciate
will
you
get,
coming.
before we submit this, and Sabrina submits this, I will change out that one page. I don't know how that one got missed. But I'll get that one page changed out on there. Okay?
Thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate
You have a
it.
good day.
Are you gonna take these back up, Jeff?
Yeah, let me take my up and get that one page changed out. And I'll bring them back at the next meeting.
Page.
I'll take that.
Oh. It
I
happens.
looked at that 100 times. Well, I was more concerned about the major ones in the back than I
Yeah.
was about the DNA.
You're not perfect.
Well, when I read that, I was like, that's a profit, that's not a loss on you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Under other business, the next chamber luncheon is Wednesday, January the 22nd at noon, which is a city-sponsored luncheon. Please let Lori know no later than noon on Friday, January the 17th, if you plan to attend. Then, I think in your packet, you got financial statement or approval for the next meeting for the November 2024 to look at and come back to the next meeting to approve it. Does anybody have anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Ferris makes a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Alley seconded. All in favor, say aye. Raise your right hand. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all for